I went a whole month without watching this show, and now I'm ready to dive back in. This video will be on the many missing episodes I originally did not have when watching Jon and Kate Plus 8. If you haven't watched all of my videos on seasons 1 through 5, feel free to go watch those first, as well as part 1 to this video. Everything is included in the playlist. Hi, I'm Danny, and you can normally find me on this channel diving into TLC shows, Christian fundamentalism, and exposing family vloggers. If that sounds like something you're into, I'm excited to have you around. I am now only missing 2 episodes, the 1 Year Later special and Cutting Room Floor from season 2. Thankfully, Michael Dykstra was kind enough to summarize it for us. In the special, we see Kate's tummy tuck. This was a gift from a viewer of the first special, and she convinced her husband, a plastic surgeon, to give Kate the tummy tuck for free. This special featured Kate's full transformation as she became a blonde. It's also where we get Alexis's reaction clip where she repeats "Hi, Mommy" over and over again. This special also gives a tour of their new house and shows a blurred poop on the floor from one of the sextuplets. Cutting Room Floor includes never-before-seen clips to include Jon, Kate, and the twins visiting Morro Rock while in Sequoia National Park, Kate's liposuction, and the sextuplets' first haircuts. Nothing too exciting. And, as always, this might be a crazy life, but it's their life.
It might be a crazy life.
We have all the kids?
But it's our life.
A few weeks ago, I said I was missing the Disney World episode titled Hit the Road in season 2. I now have that episode thanks to KMMCM19, so let's start watching. Although my family went to Disney World when I was about 8, I don't remember it at all. That's why my husband and I went 2 months ago, and let me tell you, I have no shame in the Disney adult I am becoming. But Jon and Kate's trip looks a lot different. For one, they've decided to do a 19-hour drive. Thankfully, Kate knows how to pack the essentials.
Medicines, because we're not going to be eating organic in there.
First, we get several boring minutes of Kate getting her hair done the day before they're leaving. But now it's the day. Their plan is to leave at 6 p.m. and make it to South Carolina to sleep for a few hours before driving to Georgia, sleeping again, and then finally booking it to Orlando. But first, Jody is going to take the kids and feed them dinner while Jon and Kate finish packing.
Look at me. These also go in the back of the van.
And after all their bickering, Jody returns with the kids and they start loading into the van.
We're going, Annie, we're going!
Not going to sea. We're not starting.
Honestly, this trip was insanely ambitious because there is nothing about Disney that is relaxing. So being exhausted just from the trip to get there is wild. But they do make it to Orlando.
Oh, I don't wear bare feet on hotel floors. That's yucky.
I just find it hilarious that Kate thinks the floor is the worst part of a hotel. If I can, I always try to bring my own blanket because using blankets that hundreds to thousands of people have used grosses me out. But Jon and Kate are not doing this trip on their own. Beth, Kayla, Brittany, and Talia are at the hotel, the Wilderness Lodge, when they arrive. And each of them had custom embroidered Mickey ears when they got to the hotel.
This is Aiden's. Those are Colin's. Those are Kara's.
Aiden, here's yours. You have Kara's on.
For their first day, they start the morning at Chef Mickey's.
They were precious. They just loved them. In fact, they didn't even eat their breakfast. They were so excited.
And Kate really puts the happy in the happiest place on earth.
Stupidest camera in the world. Turn around and look at Mommy.
But now it's time to go to the park, and of course, they start with Magic Kingdom. For their first ride, they go on Dumbo. And Colin struggles to understand how the rides work and is upset he can't just stay there all day.
He wants to fly, Dumbo. You are riding with Daddy the rest of the day. You have been sent to Daddy.
Then it's the teacups.
We're not spinning. Do not!
I'm keeping it from spinning.
You're spinning it!
No, I'm not.
Don't touch it!
Like I said, she brings the happy to the happiest place on earth. It's very normal to talk to your spouse like they're a child. Well, for Kate it is. But the Florida heat starts getting to everyone, and it's time for a snack. While Jon is grabbing that, the kids spot Cinderella, Snow White, and Belle.
You are her princess. That's what she says.
And then Jon comes back with ice cream and ruins Kate's life.
Wake up and help. Now.
Why?
Why?
Kate, their kids, eating ice cream in the Florida heat at Disney World. Let them get sticky and disgusting, and then give them a bath at the end of the day. You will survive. Here's what we really needed to hear.
Do you feel like you overreacted?
No.
Jon is more my style.
You know what I would have done? Let him eat it. Let him bathe in it. Who cares?
And they end their day at the parade. And this clip really sums up how addicting Disney can be.
Jon said when we were leaving that day, you know what this means, don't you? And I said, yes, I know. We have to come back someday.
And that's the Disney World episode. I also mentioned missing the How We Got Here episode from season 3 last week. But again, I now have it. Jon and Kate met in October 1997 at a hotel Jon was working at. Kate had just graduated from nursing school and was with her friend. Although Jon explains this time as him doing nothing, he worked at a ski slope in the winter and had just returned from a backpacking trip in Europe.
I didn't have any goals. Didn't want to get married. Didn't want to have kids. I wasn't even thinking about that stuff.
And they were engaged a year later.
We're gonna have to open our presents now.
Are you recording?
Yes, Kate, look at the red light.
So they were like that before kids. But they were also clearly in love. They spent their honeymoon at Disney World, and that was Kate's first time flying.
I'm still alive. I was scared.
Did 4 parks in 4 days and we're so tired.
For those that haven't been to Disney World, or it's been a while, this park is huge. I also did 4 parks in 4 days, and according to my watch, we walked 41.8 miles in those 4 days. On their wedding day, Jon was 22 and Kate was 24. But they wanted to be young parents, so when Kate was diagnosed with PCOS, a hormonal condition, they began fertility treatment immediately, like 6 months after getting married. They were pregnant another 2 months later, not even a year into the marriage. Not even 3/4 of a year.
This is by far probably the most wanted pregnancy ever in the whole world.
Yeah, I used to think these two struggled for years and years with infertility, not less than a year. I'm sure it's disappointing month after month to keep getting negative tests, but goodness, a success only 2 months into fertility treatment sounds like a miracle.
We had no help. We didn't need help. We didn't want help. We didn't want anyone. We just wanted to do it ourselves, and we loved our kids.
Then we learned that Kate was the only one who wanted more kids. Jon did not at all. But Kate's constant pleading made Jon give in.
Hey, Dawson, you just had 6 chocolates, and your babies are beautiful.
So are yours.
I say this in so many of my videos, but I also want to be crystal clear. I do not think young marriage or getting married soon after meeting is inherently bad. I also don't think it's bad to have kids right away, but that's just not my style. I fell in love with my husband when I was 16, and I was 20 on our wedding day. We were nearing our 4-year anniversary and did not plan to have kids anytime soon. That is what I want for my life. But the difference to me in a successful marriage versus what we saw with Jon and Kate is the ability to compromise. It seemed Kate controlled Jon for the entirety of their marriage. It did not seem like Jon was chasing his goals or his hobbies at any point, and that isn't healthy. But now we learn how Kate and Beth met.
Beth, we met actually. She signed up to feed babies, and now she's one of my very nearest and dearest friends.
And the producer hits them with a hard question.
Why do you speak to each other the way that you do?
Because we're so deadpan honest with each other, and I think we feel comfortable being able to be that way, which I think is good.
You can be honest without being belittling. Back to their story before the show, they moved to the house we saw beginning in season 1 when the sextuplets were nearly 2 years old.
Here you go, new house. Hi, new house. Hi, new house.
And then they began the show. Fast forward to the year 2024, here I am rewatching every episode. And now we move on to season 4, where I have found all of the missing episodes. This first missed episode is titled Kate's Labor Day. This is where Jon and Kate take the kids to the NICU where they spent their first few weeks after being born.
Where are we going, guys?
To the NICU!
While trying to get out of the house, the boys threw all the fridge magnets on the ground, and we hear some more harmful gender language from Kate.
Pick it up now. It's ridiculous.
Right.
They were just being boys, though.
I understand that.
The moment they arrive at the hospital, they're met with the same woman that did the hospital's PR, or public relations, when Kate first arrived. Obviously, a woman having 6 babies at once was a great story to cover at the time.
I remember the girls were at my mom's, and she called me to say that they simultaneously freaked out and said, "That's Daddy on TV!"
The hospital visit is obviously very emotional for Kate to be at because this is not just where the babies were born, but also where she was put on bed rest in the hospital for 10 weeks prior to the babies being born. She started bed rest at home at only 7 weeks pregnant, though, and the sextuplets were born when she was 30 weeks pregnant.
Oh, it's very strange to be in here.
Then they go to the delivery room.
I mean, it's so small, but there were 75 people at delivery.
It was so scary.
Another element that was scary for Kate is she was already a labor and delivery nurse at the time of delivery, so she knew what the various medications and systems they had prepared for her were there for. I cannot even imagine going into a 6-baby delivery room, let alone being Kate at that moment. And the hospital portion of their trip ends in the NICU, and they reconnect with the doctor who was in charge of the baby's care at the time.
Did you ever dream we'd have such wonderful, normal, healthy
I don't think they're
kids?
normal.
And one fun fact I thought was interesting was that Jon and Kate memorized the kids' birth order because that is how their beds were placed in the NICU.
Alexis,
Hannah, Aiden, Colin, Leah, Joel.
They also named the kids by gender and then birth order. So if Hannah had been first instead of second, she would have been named Alexis. And the trip ends when Aiden gets too loud in the NICU.
We did this today instead of nap time.
Hold his hand.
And as they're leaving, they spot a hung newspaper talking about the births, and Kate makes a comment about how scary she looks and how nice Jon looks.
Daddy's still scary. Daddy has bald spots in his head.
Maddie!
Really, yours too?
From here.
From this, right here.
Then Jon, Kate, Kara, and Maddie went across the street to the Ronald McDonald house where they stayed while the babies were in the NICU.
We had just one bed and a
2
sofa.
cots.
What's important to note about the Ronald McDonald House is that they run on donations, so the Goslins stayed there for free.
I have a check for you guys. I don't know who to give it to. We didn't get to pay you guys when we were here.
And the trip ends with them visiting the condo they had once all 6 babies were able to go home.
This was our house from June 11th to July 19th. 2004.
Now, although this was their first space outside of the hospital, they still had a lot of help day and night. Obviously, 2 people are just not capable of taking care of 2 toddlers and 6 newborns right away.
Aiden, you were this big the last time we were here. This big.
And Kate gets emotional during the interview thinking about how big this transition from a family of 4 to a family of 10 was.
It was just the last time it was simple.
Yeah.
And that concludes another episode. Still in season 4, this next episode is called Picture Perfect, where the family is doing the magazine cover for Good Housekeeping. I find it kind of odd that they did this photo shoot at the Goslins' house, which is already crammed with a family of 10 and the show's camera crew. And Good Housekeeping decided to bring their crew of 23 people. So Jon's solution was to put a bunch of canopies up throughout the front and backyard and keep everyone out there. They did let the makeup people inside and had that in the laundry room. Another issue they're facing in this shoot is it's for the November issue, but they're shooting the photos in the middle of summer when it's above 90 degrees outside.
We weren't going to dress them till the very end because they would trash their clothes and sweat to death.
And another moment of Kate focusing on gender stereotypes.
We're a little concerned about the memories of their father in a makeup chair.
I'm sure Kate has her opinions about boys wearing nail polish these days. And once the shoot began, Maddie was feeling big feelings again.
I don't care.
And Kate wasn't loving the results of round 1.
Oh, they have gorgeous smiles, and look at the faces they give us. Oh.
Round 2 was indoors and was meant to show more of the crafty dinner table side of being a family. The props team even gave the kids things to hold.
That was nice because it made it friendlier than just sitting there smiling.
Where's my headband?
To my amazement, that was just day 1 of the shoot. For the actual cover image, they had the family come into a studio the next day. And with this being a cover photo, they had to really squeeze all 10 people together to get it to fit.
So we had people behind the picture, like holding on to them so that they
Wouldn't fall.
so that it was safe, but it made them nervous.
This shoot doesn't go very well, and most kids start crying or whining, so they take a lunch break and let the kids play with a dog. This brings their spirits back up.
We took a break, we had lunch, we got awesome lunch boxes.
And the second try of this shoot was much more successful when one of the crew members brought out puppets and had everyone cracking up with laughter. The shoot ends and Maddie asks if they can turn up the music and just dance. So they do just that. And the cover turns out great. For the 5th and final episode of this video, we have Baseball Game with Daddy. With it only being Jon that's going, he is taking the 3 boys and Kara.
I was excited to stay home with Maddie and the little girls to have some quiet. We did some baking.
Yeah, I'd much rather go to the baseball game.
With Goslin 8 on the
awesome.
back. So everybody has a jersey and a hat.
The woman explaining the gifts is Melissa, the owner of the Phillies' wife. She watches Jon and Kate Plus 8 and decided to invite them to a game. She hooked them up with a fancy luxury suite.
Boys, you ready to eat? I got dippers too if you want them.
But we should all know better than to expect the show to only show the joyful moments of the Goslins. Here is Jon talking about the senior vice president of marketing visiting them at the game.
And he has kids our age who watch our show.
Kids our age?
Not our age. We met.
Kate. I don't think anyone was confused about what Jon was saying. But the kids really start having fun when they meet the mascot, Philly Fanatic.
Well, they had a party favor as a tongue. And Colin's like, whoa, look at that. And I was worried he'd like pull the fur off.
And then they take a group photo.
That must be my wife in there.
The moment someone can explain, "I hate my spouse," jokes to me, will be the day everything comes together. Because I do not understand. Then we see this short clip of Kara with a baseball menu icon that I completely forgot about. Ice cream in a little baseball hat.
Like daddy daycare up there.
So stinking cute. The Phillies win and the family gets invited down onto the field. They ended the day meeting a player, but considering it was nearly 11 p.m. at that point, the kids just wanted to go to bed. Jon said they made it home at 1:10 a.m. that night.
I'd like to thank the Phillies and everyone involved.
And that's it. My next video will be focused on the 3 commonly missing episodes of The Goslins in Hawaii. I hope you have an amazing week. Bye!